catch up on a trailer that came out that we would have done last week, but we also have some controversy that came up around this trailer over the last week. So we get to talk about both things. You get our genuine reaction, and we'll share our thoughts on this so-called controversial change that's going on. We're going to check out the Avatar: The Last Airbender from Netflix, the official trailer, which it's not really a spoiler for the controversy, but today the Netflix team on this show essentially said that this show is going to be a remix, not a cover. So essentially, they're not holding
we knew.
to where we're
We kind of had a feeling that was going to be the case when the creators left the project because of creative differences.
Yeah,
so. I knew that was going to come back and haunt us. Like I just knew it, but
it doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be bad. It just means it's not going to be. It's not going to be what we know.
Yeah.
It's going to be a reimagining in a manner of speaking.
I mean,
allegedly,
Netflix doesn't have too much of a bad run on different genres, so I'm willing to give it a chance.
Yeah.
But you can't get no better than the original. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
I guess you could say that, but to be honest, out of all of Avatar, like this is also including Korra, season 1 of the first season of Avatar is the weakest. So
that's
to be honest,
it does get better and better.
Yeah, them making some remix changes to that season, I think is fine. It's when we get on to like the later seasons and the setup stuff that's in season 1. If they remix that, I'm not sure where we're gonna go with it. Yeah. But I would say they have the most leeway right here up until like the North Pole jank.
Well, when it comes to the order of like events, I mean that I'm not really stuck on that sort of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm more like, how are these characters gonna be?
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah,
that was the main thing.
Yeah,
because if the characters aren't good, or if the characters aren't, if they aren't good, because they can be different and be good and I can be fine.
Yeah.
But if they're different and bad, then it's kind of like, well, this kind of sucks.
I feel you.
Lame duck series.
Because I think my mindset is there too. I still think that they're like the weakest in season 1. In fairness, it's season 1 of a 3-season show.
Yeah.
But in terms of how they were written in their dialogue in season 1, I do think that it's the weakest overall of what we got in all of Avatar. But
because the pacing, I feel like maybe you're talking about the pacing of Avatar season 1. I don't want them to rush things as well, because how many episodes are we getting? Do you know?
I don't know yet.
Okay, yeah. Hopefully we're getting a good amount of episodes so they can have some space to actually develop the characters. Because even though the season 1 was the weakest part, it did something for the later season. I felt like it was a sacrifice of it being so slow paced and stuff like that. So the later seasons can be, basically hyped up or whatever you want to say.
Yeah, but I did mean the characters. Like, that's why I chimed in on Chris, because I think they're the weakest in season 1.
Okay.
It's just, I'll put it this way.
They grew into themselves.
Yeah. The world building of season 1 really saved season 1, because I think that they were the least interesting that they ever were until we got closer to the North Pole.
Yeah.
Which is the end of season 1 anyway.
Okay, so we're only going to get 8 episodes for the live action.
I guess
they called it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is fine, because to me, I think there's only about 8 that matter in terms of like an hour-long show.
Okay, so it is really, hour. Yeah. Okay.
So, with that being said, out of all of season 1 of Avatar, I do think that 8 is a pretty good number, because there's only like 8 episodes that are like super important.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we got this official trailer, and then we got some controversial stuff to talk about. So, at least one of the controversial things that have come up. So, let's go ahead and check out this trailer, where I'm going to cue this intro, and then we'll check out Avatar, the Netflix Bender.
The Netflix Bender.
Do we make sure the volume is okay?
We did not.
We're going to check it when we start.
I'm going to check it.
Testing.
It's hot.
The Fire Nation is embarked on a dark path. And the world
Looking good.
Really?
You see that?
Can't argue that.
Let's just play it off for a second. Okay. How y'all feel about their suits?
I was going to ask you that,
That
sir.
looks good.
It sounds okay.
You got the glow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
really
like
only
that.
going to be a thing when Solo Leveling comes
Got the
in.
sound.
If our nation has destroyed everything in our path.
Surprised that we get to
It
see
looks
him
so
so
good.
early.
So good.
Sounds good too.
If the world is gonna have any chance, it's gonna need aim.
Ooh.
I respect it. I like
Now,
that.
can she fight like that though? Let me see.
I mean, she couldn't really
What
fight
did he
in
say?
season 1.
He said, "There goes the savior of the world."
Okay.
Okay, look good to me. Mask look good. Look good. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not someone who can stop
Dang.
the nation.
Oh, well, he's
Sorry.
Everybody's so
You gotta keep this long. You have me, Tara, and a flying ball of fur. What more do you need?
Momo.
I don't know how they found a guy with Sokka's head shape.
They did it though.
stick girl. Okay. Oh man, I remember that episode.
I do like the bending. The bending looks good.
Nice.
That was Kyoshi Warriors. Boy, hopefully they do that scene
Ooh,
right,
I like
man. Cause
that.
that scene right there.
Oh wow. So far so good.
Yeah,
I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad at it either.
Okay, Boomy.
Me? Waterbending?
Okay, it's already
Oh,
better
there goes
than
Jet.
Yeah, the whole
the
movie.
trailer is better than the other movie.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at this.
Bro, the stills from the photos from this
stills.
movie. Where,
Right.
yeah.
You're right, my bad. That was disrespectful.
It's kind of hype.
It
is.
looks promising
It looks good.
until you
My
look on the
birthday's
internet.
26.
But look what they did to my boy.
So before we get into anything else, what are some initial thoughts that y'all had?
Bending good.
Elemental use.
The aesthetic good.
Yeah, aesthetic's
The
very
aesthetic was very important, and I kind of think they nailed it.
Yeah.
I think they're doing Sokka's character right. I think Sokka character is kind of hard to translate from TV show to film, and I think they're translating pretty well.
His look.
No, his attitude, just his overall character.
Yeah, his attitude seems pretty
Now
good.
the controversy
Oh
kind
yeah,
of.
hold that thought. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna wait until we get
Okay.
into the
No, I like it. I like the special effects. I like how they have the full use of like the background and the setting. Really brings
Yeah.
everything together.
Mhm.
The costumes look amazing.
Yeah.
You know?
Appa looks good.
And the fighting scenes where they were on the bridge and Aang was up in the air, you know, it wasn't too dark. You could still see stuff, you know. I like how you can actually see.
Hey, boy, she coming for blood. Go ahead.
No, because I'm just saying, and it's not just in that movie. I'm just saying most cinematic pieces when you have like dark settings like that, they just want to keep the tone dark, you know.
Yeah.
They don't want to highlight any lighting in it. And I think that the cinematography in this was really well done. So I'm excited for it.
No shots taken.
Yeah. I'm
No, it was
excited.
shots taken. We're not going to take up that. But I do think that every single character, I haven't seen any character I was like, okay, I don't think they don't look like, you know, the character that was in the show.
Right.
Every single character is hitting. Maybe Katana looks innocent, but she looked innocent back in season 1. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I don't see any misses. Do y'all see any misses with the characters?
No, I think all the characters
So
look,
far.
look good. I know a lot of people had problems with how Zuko looked. But
Really?
Yeah.
He looks young, but he looks like around the same age as them.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
supposed to be a teenager. They were just saying, like,
Shouldn't
for one instance,
maybe
like
a
the
little
burn scar, the burn effect
Need more burn.
wasn't enough on his face.
Burn him some
Wow.
more. You need to go
Yeah.
back go see his father again.
And that his face was too
Put him
round.
back in the
His
ring.
face was too round for you know what the character was on
Man.
the animated show.
Speak
But
up
other
again,
than
Zuko.
that,
Let
you
that
know,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, his head is round. Okay, they couldn't find anybody to match Zuko's head shape. They got Sokka right, but they
Well, no, it's just that it's a drawing. Dan.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's the same.
Drawing.
Because it's the same argument that people make with like anime, where it's just like the features. They're supposed to be like more white like, and like this character has a broad jaw. Like he's not handsome enough. I'm like, that boy is 14.
Yeah.
If you don't shut your face.
Well, how they gonna do?
It's
Frankie
such a
from One
weird
Piece?
thing to get really hung up on.
Right, so I was like, some of those things that people were saying.
Frankie's
I
in his
think
20s,
the
so
burn
yeah,
effect
that
on
issue.
Zuko's face was
Frankie's
done
full.
well enough. Like you could see he has a
Yeah.
burn scar over his
Significant.
face. Yeah, significant
Yeah.
amount. Especially for a teenager to have that.
He does look pretty young. It is kind of jarring to see how young he looks.
Yeah.
Damn.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a criticism. It's more of an observation.
Yeah, it is an observation.
Yeah,
but yeah,
he's supposed to be like
Yeah.
14, 15.
Right.
He looks perfect.
But,
man.
but,
How old is
but
that?
in the show, he does kind of look a little older
Older,
than
yeah.
them.
Yeah. Again, that's
Yeah.
just
how
Yeah.
they drew
the
him.
anime
Right.
proportions.
But I can understand it being a bit jarring to see him and be like, oh, he looks young, and but like it's not anything to get hung up about.
Yeah.
Got a comment.
I like that we covered, like I said, I think there's only like 8 episodes or so of original Avatar if we were telling the story that are like super important. And they pretty much covered all the ones that I can remember being like actual big events. So we had the North Pole where we first find Aang. They'll have the episode where we go to the Southern Airtail Pole. We'll have the episodes with Heibai where which is like that panda spirit.
Yeah.
Because that's the same one that we
Spirit
go
World.
to we go to the Spirit World in that one, but we also get the info to go to the Firebending Island so that Aang can
Solstice.
meet Roku. Yeah, that's where he learns that he has to beat the Fire Lord by the end of summer.
Yes.
The episode with June because she's important for like later in-game stuff. The episode with Jet.
Big character development for Sokka, not Sokka, but
The Katara.
Katara.
The Kyoshi.
And for both of them, actually. The
Yeah.
Kyoshi Warrior, the
Yeah.
Kyoshi Island one.
That's gonna be way early.
Mhm.
I
The
wonder if they're gonna mash that together.
probably the Northern Air Temple,
Mm-hmm.
where Aang meets like the other people that have settled in, and then the North Pole.
Yeah.
And those
That's
are
basically.
those are the only ones that I'm just like those are the super important ones.
Yeah, they are.
Did he meet the firebender that wouldn't teach
He
him?
met John, but I don't know if I think that episode is important too.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, John hasn't been cast.
Okay.
And
Dang.
he's like one of those ones where it's just like I get it because like ultimately we didn't change anything from that episode, but it was a really good episode for us to get to know Aang better.
Yeah.
So I hope that there's something like it in this, but I could see why they wouldn't do that episode.
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, 'cause I remember that episode where he was like, "Yo," he saw that you wasn't ready just the way you was walking. I was like, "That's some deep stuff."
Yeah.
Hey, you ain't walking right.
You
Yeah, yo.
ain't walking right. Translation, you ain't ready.
You ain't ready. So I mean, that whole
Ain't walking no
episode.
walk.
Oh, I remember too. So 2 things that they already announced were going to be changes.
Okay.
Aang isn't going to rely so much on Roku as much in this series. So
Help me, Daddy.
essentially, they're essentially going to be switching positions so that Aang talks to other avatars instead of just Roku.
I think
Wait,
I
you
think
talking
that's
to
a
other
good.
Avatar?
Yeah, he talks to he talks. He's supposed to talk to other avatars
Yeah.
in this, not just Roku.
Roku.
Right.
And I
So
think
that would be
was a
one of
good-
the reasons why that episode didn't get cut because Roku puts the fear of God in Zhang, and he's just like, all right, well,
Yeah,
I'll try.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could, if they're going that route, if that's true, I don't know if it's true or not, but if that is true, I could see why that episode isn't cut because that was a big scene.
Yeah.
And then the Fire Nation is supposed to be more prevalent, and that's why Ozai and Azula are more featured now, which I think makes sense,
Yeah.
like world building wise,
Yeah.
because
'Cause
it,
then
they
they'd be
did feel like
always
they
be
came
there.
out of nowhere.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. No,
Oh.
I think them having other past avatars for Aang to talk to is a good decision because that's one of the things that I always wondered in the show when we were growing up and watching it. I was like, he's only talking to one of the past avatars. I was like, you have this whole line.
Yeah, a
He don't-
whole line.
I said he don't talk to anybody else. That was one of the things
Facts.
that I'd always I always wondered about. So I was like, okay, well if they're gonna make that change, then that's a good idea for
Yeah.
him to get input from other past avatars.
other benders, other past avatars.
Yeah.
It's like Deku.
Yes, exactly.
Talking to
Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was a
Sorry.
spoiler. Okay.
That was like 4 seasons ago.
Hey, we still got virgins out there.
I have to catch up.
That's their fault.
I don't know who he talking to, but I gotta catch up.
No, because 4 seasons is like 4 years ago. I ain't messing around with these.
I've been watching other anime. I gotta catch up.
The only thing
It's
I
not
ain't
too
spoiling
much of a
was what's
spoiler.
I mean, we all on the couch know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We're all caught up in,
Yeah,
for
but-
the most part.
So that was
You
something.
know,
That's why I said I gotta get caught up.
it's okay.
Maybe alright. No. So
be
that was
skimming
some of
anyway.
the
I'll
changes
forget
that
watching it anyway.
Wait, that was the first change. What was the second change?
the avatars and then the
Yeah.
Fire Nation
Yeah, being more prevalent.
being more prevalent.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually like that approach. It
Yeah.
gives a different feel, and then you can definitely build on the worlds as it goes along.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if Azula is as much of a threat in this as she was in the cartoon, I definitely want to see more of her.
Right, exactly.
Because
How can you get worse than
I
what
hope
she
she's.
did?
I hope she's crazy.
I
I
don't-
hope
worse.
she's just as crazy. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's-
Yeah,
I
she
don't-
needs to be unhinged.
I don't want her to necessarily be worse, but if they do hit the same level, I just
Yeah.
want to see more of her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she didn't pop up until the
She
end
bit.
of
She bit.
season 1,
She bit.
Mm-hmm.
where they became fugitives. Zuko and Uncle Haru.
Uncle Haru, yeah.
Yeah.
So that said, since we talked about some of the stuff that we thought might be good changes, let's talk about the thing currently that people are saying might be a bad change.
Okay.
And get into some controversy. This is Asmongold responding to the statement that's made, right?
Yeah, just
Okay.
on a statement on Twitter.
All right, cool. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go into this, and then we'll check it out. All right, well,
Liberty. Look, we did not sponsor. They did not sponsor us.
Suki and the Kyoshi warriors and worships them as female warriors instead of overcoming his sexist views, I guess. I heard that there was discourse about this.
Netflix's live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender series is toning down the sexism. We took out the element of how sexist Sokka was. I feel like there were a lot of moments in the original show that were iffy.
The character was originally like a sexist character that then overcame that and came to appreciate women as fighters.
Leave it to a girl to screw things up.
You are the most sexist.
Show yourselves, cowards! Wait a second, there's no way a bunch of girls took us down. Sorry, ladies, didn't mean to interrupt your dance lesson.
Sorry about yesterday.
It's alright. I mean,
It's kinda crazy
normally
that
I
he
hold
put these
grudge,
clips in
but
here.
seeing as you guys are a bunch of girls, I'll make an exception.
Anything else you want to teach us?
Hey, Suki,
Hoping for another dance lesson?
I would be honored if you would teach me.
Even if I'm a girl?
I'm sorry if I insulted you earlier.
I love seeing an artist's original work that's
Look at that growth.
No,
forget that.
Be changed
He was
for
just-
modern audiences. Thank God
Just don't
we
show them.
have these fucking losers that are going to
Maybe it could be a
changing the
flashback,
story in order to make it for people that don't even care about it. People are fucking furious about this. Studios are terrified to even have character development now. It's over. Sokka's supposed to be a flawed character who grows out the series, which you have to understand. You can only have flawed characters that are mass murderers. You can't have a flawed character that has disdain towards women. That would be outrageous.
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 But they better not be a racist.
Like, what's
So,
I got it.
yeah, I completely understand his point of view because, like, you have to have a character that is flawed to go through this journey of growth. Like, a character just doesn't start off
Yeah.
with
Gonna be
like
born.
everything.
It look like, you see the village the society he's grown up in has kind of morphed him into this line of thinking.
It makes
Right.
sense.
It makes sense.
It makes sense to him. Yeah.
He's never
about-
left his island.
Yeah.
It's about being a man. Because Sokka has always been throughout the whole series been getting humbled after
Yeah,
That's not
he
always
gets, that's his
even when he
thing.
gets the
Always
sword.
humbled.
He gets humbled.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and then Sokka, that's how he grew to be a leader.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Yeah.
they messing it up for him, and that's that got me heated.
Maybe-
Y'all. That got me heated.
So to add on to this, because I saw, I don't know if y'all know Classic Man D. He makes like a lot of short form content stuff on YouTube, and he basically just shares his thoughts on this. He shared his thought on it like a couple days ago, and I don't know if it's necessarily true, but he also implied that they're blanketing this for all of season 1 of Avatar. So it's not just going to be Sokka. It's going to be like when Katara goes to the North Pole, and they don't want her to
Oh,
like
no.
waterbend because
she's a woman.
Yeah.
What?
So it's implied. I don't know if it's true. I don't work on the show.
Character
But
development.
It's
Check
implied
out.
that that's going to
Like
be also
discrimination exists.
Yeah.
I'm about
Right.
to check out.
Get rid of it just
Right.
because you don't like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like there are societies that are like this.
Right, and they have to really think about this too. When the
Overcoming
original
adversity.
show was done, they had all of this in there, but we came to love the characters because they grew throughout the
Yeah.
entire journey.
It's-
If you're taking that out with the live action, what are we getting with the
You're,
characters?
you're,
That's
you're
what I was just about to
overcoming
say.
adversity.
Right.
Like that's the theme. Like when something gets put in your way or there's limits put on you, you overcome it.
Wait.
And when you take that out of take that out of shows that that kids watch,
Right,
you kind of give them a false sense of reality
right.
that there's no adversity in the world and they can just go and do whatever they want without roadblocks being put in their way.
And this type of thing really scares me as well. This is actually a game changer with these notes. Is that they don't understand the characters and they don't understand. I feel like this is kind of a reaching, but maybe they don't understand storytelling because you have those in place, so it can lead to something else. You know what I'm saying? No character can be perfect, and if they making these characters perfect and having like, okay, now Katana don't even need to train for water building. She's just nice with it. Like let's not go down that path.
Like Korra.
Yeah,
Right.
like Korra. She's just nice with it. She's born with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And plus she can earth bend too because. Like,
Just
yo,
because,
like, let's
right?
not go down this path, man. Let's have some characters with flaws and let them overcome it so we can grow along with them.
Now, I will say that this doesn't necessarily mean that this is going to be bad.
No.
Red flag though.
Definitely
Definitely red
it's
flag.
definitely like a kind of like a, ooh, that's kind
Yeah.
of shaky, but like
Yeah.
I'm still willing to give it its fair shot.
They
to
get
see,
two shakes.
to give it its fair shot to see like what
What
new
happens.
story they can create from this.
Because I feel like when they take those certain aspects from characters away, you're toning down the character development and you're making the character more one-dimensional.
Yeah,
And you have to
Or-
replace it with something else to make up
yeah,
for it.
that's what I was gonna say. What if they are? Because this is only one side of.
Yeah, it is
The
on one
argument.
side.
Yeah.
So what if they are replacing with something else that's maybe
Or they-
more?
we
I don't know.
will
Or they may have us.
And to add in, like, this is why I was going in saying that it's a remix, not a cover.
Yeah.
The only arguments, again, this is playing devil's advocate. This is not my personal feelings on it.
Go ahead.
But the only arguments that anyone has made so far is based off of the Avatar show that we already have.
That is true.
And at the end of the day, y'all can always just go back and watch
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like,
That is very true.
it can
If,
never.
if this turns out to be bad,
Yeah.
the cartoon still exists.
It's always
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they might do something with Sokka that we didn't ever see. Like, maybe Sokka doesn't need to be that way in order
Yeah.
to tell the story. I don't
Maybe.
know because I've never
Or-
seen him
Or they could
outside of this cartoon. Yeah.
they could probably tie it into maybe an episode where it's considered a flashback. They could try something like that in a different approach.
It sounds like they don't even want it in the show at all.
I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
I don't know.
you can also say that, hey, since we already have an Avatar series on, for cartoons, you might as well say, hey, well, we don't need it in the movie theater. We don't need a live action. Y'all not going to do it right. We don't need it at all then. Get my toys back. Like, that's how I feel. What's up? But anyways, it's whatever.
Or leave your toys alone.
Vanel is the guy on Twitter being like,
Yeah, bro, I'm about to really. I'm
Netflix.
going to find my glasses. I'm type it on.
Not mine.
Gonna make me
Not my avatar.
Not my toy.
But like you guys have mentioned, they could replace it with something
Yeah,
else.
hopefully.
And Avatar: The Last Airbender, there was like a lot of dimensions to that show, so there was always something to pull from. So maybe, like you said, they don't need to focus on certain aspects just to get the story across. Hopefully, the actors aren't watered down. We see more of their expressions, more of their I do that intentionally.
Cooking, go ahead.
More part of their personality. You know, we don't want them to just be like stoic and just monotone. You know, that would be the worst thing.
Just rock with it.
We want to see their emotions as they're playing these characters.
Yeah. And if we still have 3 seasons of this show, which we're going to assume that we do, we want those characters to have some type of development.
An
from
arc.
Season 1.
Yeah,
we need an arc.
An arc.
Sokka's about to be like,
right. We don't
dead.
need we don't need
flat
a flat line. No, we don't need a
we
flat
need him
line.
to come from something. Sokka has to come from something.
I will say this: I've watched 2 groups of people react to Avatar from episode 1 recently, and I will say that this part where Sokka's in the North Pole, I thought was a lot. Like, I didn't remember it as a child being a lot, but when I went back and watched it, I was just
a lot. Yeah.
Dang. I was like, the Kyoshi Island one and the North Pole one felt like okay because it actually made sense and it told like some type of lesson for the story. I'm not gonna lie, when I saw Sokka here, I was just like, dang. She straight up called him sexist because honestly, that's the only thing this character's got right now. So if they tone it back a little bit, I could see that. It's
toning it back, fine, but like totally getting rid of it. I don't think that's cool.
I think it's weird. Again, this comes down to a thing. If y'all gonna take that away, he needs something else to develop. I best not see a sword anytime soon.
Oh my gosh.
Have him become a weapons expert during the show.
Well, I mean, they I don't know if you've ever seen, but there is like a thing where Sokka actually does use weapons from all 4 nations throughout the show.
That's cool. It's a small detail.
Yeah, he has the boomerang. He uses the fan on Kyoshi Island, which is like the air one. He uses the sword, which is the fire one. And then he has like his club thing. Yeah. Which even though it's made from the water tribe, it implements elements of earth. So Sokka actually does master a weapon of each of the 4 elements. So if they wanted to like bake into that and actually make it an aspect of the show, pop off. But I better see him fanning. I better see him hammering. I better see him swinging the sword. Like, y'all can't just get rid of pieces and then just be like, oh, yeah.
It better come back. Better be blown.
Or if they take more time to spend with him being like more of the strategist or whatever, because I do feel like Avatar just kind of pulled that out of nowhere. At certain parts.
I mean, he had to grow into it. That's what I'm saying. Like, he learned all these different aspects. And he grew into being that.
Yeah, he was an immature kid.
But he needed to be a leader. Like, his dad saw, like, yo, you know, you ain't ready for none of this. And, you know, when he learned, like, all right, look, females can do some stuff.
Right.
So I needed to include that into my plan. And then also, it was just a lot of different. And also, he was, like, pushed to the edge. Like, man, I don't got no powers. I don't got nothing. I need to do something. So he leaned more into being the strategist.
No, the show, I 100% disagree with that. The show tells us that he leaned into being the strategist.
It doesn't show.
He did not. He ain't spent no time outside of the sword episode in Kyoshi Island. He don't spend no time talking about no strategy. He don't practice no fighting skills. He just be out here doing stuff today. Season 3 when they get when Combustion Man catches up to them, and he like nails him with the boomerang. I'm just like, where did that come from? Like, you was over here fighting with a spear yesterday. If you don't be throwing this boomerang, knocking out firebenders, like it was just like from around the corner. This sucker literally just said,
"Here you go."
He got smart overnight.
I was just like, but it's like it's random points in the story when they just need something smart to happen. Sokka just does something. He's the fall
really
guy
smart. Because he doesn't have anything.
Oh, and the jet episode. The jet episode is a really smart one for him, but I think that's the most fair one because it doesn't necessarily point him out as being smart. It just points him out as being like
resourceful. Because I don't really remember.
Resourceful.
Essentially,
him in it.
Yeah, Jet just kind of like pretends that he's a really good guy, and then he threatens to blow up the dam and flood the town.
I know that
and Sokka is just distrustful of his intentions.
Yeah.
And so it gives the perspective that he pays more attention to people than Aang and Katara, who just give people the benefit of the doubt.
Right, like he's more observant.
Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily make him like smart.
Shikamaru.
Yeah.
Shikamaru.
Shikamaru.
Because Shikamaru probably would have like stopped Jet. Sokka was just like after like fake dying or whatever, he just evacuated a town.
He's like, I got my eyes on
Shikamaru's
I'm watching you.
They're not gonna come for my dude though.
Shikamaru's
He's like, I don't know what
I'll
you're
rewatch.
doing, but you like
No.
rewatch.
I like Sokka. I like Sokka a lot.
This
I just don't like
this jet
when a show is just like the points when they're literally looking at him to do stuff and they're just like, well, you're the idea guy. I'm over here sitting like, since when? When do any of your like plans need Sokka to make an idea for y'all? Since when?
I gotta rewatch it because I think he just grows into it. Like,
nah, Trey's right.
It kind of just happens.
It kind of just happens.
Mm-hmm. In season 3, he does a lot of like planning and stuff like that. I'll give him that. But even in the midst, they don't go with most of his plans most of the time.
Well, maybe during the commercial. I don't know, guys.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, when? It's like Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji when we were going from Water 7 to Eni's lobby, just got power-ups out of nowhere. I'm just like, where? Y'all just train on the train?
Yeah, that's what they call it, a train.
Because I feel like a lot of, like, for Sokka, there's just a lot of moments where he's just obnoxious, but then he's also just a bit of a klutz.
Yeah.
And
he takes L's.
And he takes like a lot of L's. Yeah. That whole episode where he drunk from the cactus and was like loopy the entire time. I could not.
Oh, rolling with that.
But like, he needs some type of development in the live action that actually hints towards him being the strategist.
Like he has the potential for some of the most growth.
Yeah.
Because he's the one without the most. He doesn't have powers or anything, so he needs something significant that creates that heavy arc.
Mm-hmm. He was the most neglected too.
Yeah, he was.
Story wise,
The writers had to grow too.
Their time either on
they're taking
his
sexism away from him.
His sex.
That's all he had was his disdain of women.
They also didn't talk about...
Learn to respect them.
They also didn't really talk about how Zuko felt about, the loss of his mom either. Because Katara was the focal point of how, she felt and everything. But they never really spent a lot of time in the show about...
focusing on his feelings.
Yeah, his feelings.
Yeah. Maybe they'll do that.
See,
maybe they'll swing the needle backwards and he'll just be like overly... for women.
I'm weak. I always saw that as Zuko, but I can see it both ways because I would say that Zuko was probably like further along in letting go of his mother's death because he spent most of the show thinking that she was already dead.
Yeah.
And so he had probably come to like some consensus. But then the other side of that argument is, the guy that chased the Avatar around the world, even when you didn't know the Avatar existed, is the guy that made... I can see it both ways where I'm just like, he probably shouldn't have been over that as easy as he was. But...
Yeah, again, I'm not trying to get woke about these type of stuff, so we can just move on.
We can just move on.
I ain't trying to get involved in these
real
woke
talk.
topics.
Let's watch another cartoon.
Let's watch another trailer. Let's talk about. Y'all want to talk about Danny Phantom?
No.
That's also one of the controversy on that.
Never mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like,
never mind. Don't worry.
I nearly lost that one too.
Did anybody have a question for the audience?
How do y'all feel about Sokka's sexism being stripped in the show, or sexism in general being stripped from the Avatar show? Do y'all think that it was integral to the development of some of these characters and the storylines, or do you think that stripping it away will give the opportunity for something else to be replaced in the story? Yeah.
It is annoying regardless of how you look at it.
Yeah, I agree. Personally, I agree. if you're gonna do an adaptation, then
Do the
it's-
The adaptation, yeah.
because it's what inspired you, at least in my opinion. But that's
It's like, but I don't like that he didn't like women though, so I'm gonna just erase that part.
I'll just erase
Get rid of
It's
one
like,
of
but
the
he did like,
character flaws.
but he
out.
did like women.
yeah. Well, not enough.
He grew to understand them and respect them. Isn't that a good thing? Like I just okay.
No.
Let's go.
Also-
Let's move on.
So we can take the racism.
We
Let's
don't
move
want it.
on.
The
Let's move on.
firebenders also like the air nomads. They also like
That is
the
much
water
of a
vendors.
problem.
They also.
That I'm not gonna lie to you.
So take
That's
away
gonna be
racism.
one that I feel like is going to be a thing where there's gonna be more firebenders that are like less
I think you guys are cool.
invested in like hurting people. I feel like the Fire Nation is gonna have a lot more people that are less evil.
They're gonna defect. You're gonna have a lot of
Not
defective-
defectors, but I think they're gonna be like less evil. Like how we saw.
Oh, they're
throughout most-
more human.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
not just like
Like-
mindless.
Like they occupy
Fire-
the story. It's
fire
just
machines.
like we're
Yeah.
here, but we really don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Like, can you please just give
they're
up?
just normal.
We're
dudes.
trying to help. Like,
Oh yeah, that
yeah.
is. Boy,
Why don't
stick to
y'all
your
see
character.
that we're the ones trying to help you?
You better have
Exactly.
combustion man. I tell you that. He better not defect. He better be head
He
on.
talks now. Wait, what? Okay. That's what we gonna do with this.
Talks now.
That's what
While
we
y'all
gonna
are
do with
commenting down below, feel free to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Share with someone that you want to be a part of the discussion, and just subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to our first 1,000 subscribers.
No, fix it.
Oh, quiet.
So join up today and be in the first 1,000 in the C2 army.
Just Trey up. He can't even do the poses.
By the way, check the description down below. It'll be a link to all of our socials, including our Discord page, the C2 Circle. There, you can be around for all the content that's going to be lined up next week when we go live at
7 on Thursday. Did anyone say
Eastern
that?
Standard Time on the
Did
dot.
anyone say Thursday?
You did.
It's at 7 on
You Thursday. You said Thursday.
I'm Thursday.
Thursday.
If you're checking this video out on YouTube, thank you so much for all your love and support. We're happy to be getting back into the swing of things.
Swing it.
And thank you so much for, swinging with us. We're all batters out here.
Swanging.
Yeah.
Home run.
That's a different
Better,
thing.
better swing.
Swing batter.
All right, we got to continue on with the live stream. Thank you guys so much for all your love and support. We're going to catch you in the next video with some more C2 chatter. But until that time comes, peace.
Toodles.
I guess it's too late to ask about my cabbage being
Cabbage?
He's in here.
this. Better be here.
The cabbage.
cabbage.
Cabbage. Oh, the cabbage is okay.
He's in here.
So I raised
They already
it
passed him.
between y'all's.
They showed.
I know, but I need a drink, bruh. You gotta put it
I
on.
was trying to put it in the right time.